wish you some springtime, some bird on a wing time for blooming and sending out shoots. I wish you some test time, some winter and rest time for growing and putting down roots. I wish you some summer because you're a becomer with blue skies and flowers and dew. For there is a reason God's sending every season. He's planted His image in you. I wish you some laughter and some happy thereafter to give you a frame for your dreams. But there'll be some sorrows and some rainy tomorrows with some sun and some clouds in between. I wish you some crosses, and I wish you some losses, 'cause only in losing you win. I wish you some growing, and I wish you some knowing that there's always a place to begin. We'd love to collect you and shield and protect you and save you from hurts if we could. But we must let you grow tall to learn and to know all that God has in mind for your good. We never could own you for God. He only loaned you to widen our world and our hearts. So we wish you His freedom, knowing where He is leading. There's just nothing that can tear us apart.
Oh, that's hard to follow. I didn't write anything down because I couldn't think of anything to say other than she was the best little sister anyone could ask for. I never remembered a time we fought. I was so much older. And I'm going to miss her every day. After my mind came up a little bit where I could think after we found out about it, I was thinking of a song that she would probably want me to sing. I've sang 100 times for other people. And it's going to be for me and my family today. And it's a hard song to sing. But I know God is with us all. And we love all of you. And we're thankful that Angel was here for 21 years. She's been a great blessing to me and my kids. She's a great influence on Kinsey. It's been really hard. I'm going to try to sing this song here. I've had many tears and sorrows. I've had questions for tomorrow. And there's been times I didn't know right from wrong. But in every situation, God has given blessed consolation that our trials will come to only make us strong. And through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His Word. I've been to a lot of places, I've seen a lot of faces, but there's times that we feel so all alone. But in those lonely hours, yes, those precious lonely hours, Jesus lets us know that we are His own. And through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. And through it all, I've learned to depend upon His Word. And I thank God for the mountains, and I thank Him for the valleys. I thank Him for the storms He's carrying us through. For if we'd never had a problem, how would we know that God could solve them? And we'd never know what faith in God can do. And through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned I can trust in God. It's through it all, I've learned to depend upon His Word. Yes, I've learned to depend upon His Word.
Don't let the size of this scare you. I can't really see too well, so it's about a few sentences on a page, so it's not that long. Normally, I love doing speeches. The last speech Angel did for me was at my wedding, and she roasted me for about 20 minutes. So I was looking forward to her wedding to go about 20, 25 and roast her as well, but I didn't ever imagine that I'd be making a speech like this. Where does one begin? I guess there's no better place to start than the beginning. From day one, Angel and I always had a special bond. 21 years ago, my brother and I, our world drastically changed. As you heard earlier, we were shocked. I know the exact place where we were at. We were sitting at the side table at the wharf in Grand Cayman when this bombshell was dropped on us. All we could do is drop our mouths and just total shock. How could our world get any better? It was already so perfect. We didn't want it to change. Then, a couple months later, the real big news was delivered. We were at Don Pablo's on the wall, one booth from the corner. Traumatic events leave those details in your mind. I just knew it was a boy. And when they told me we were going to have a baby sister, Dad said I cried. I wept. I didn't cry, I wept. I jumped out, ran to the booth behind, and laid there uncontrollably crying for the rest of the dinner. But if you fast forward a few months, there I am holding the sweetest baby princess you could imagine. The photo of me holding her with a huge grin was pretty much identical to me holding Killian this last Sunday as I paraded him around the sanctuary. For 9 months, knowing she was coming, I dreaded every second of it. But in less than 9 seconds of holding her, she wrapped me around her little finger. And immediately, the moment she came into the world, my world got brighter. This will give you a slight glimpse of how much I loved Angel. When Killian was born, the nurses brought me over and asked if I wanted to put on his diaper, the first diaper for our baby boy. I hesitantly said I would do it. I didn't know how to change diapers, so they kind of walked me through it. I'm fiddling around here. I get it done. I have a nice proud look on my face. They say, "Great job." Take him immediately, take the whole thing off, and redo it. I somewhat jokingly said to them, "This won't only be his first diaper from me, it'll be his last diaper from me." But there's only been one diaper in my life that I've actually changed, and it's not been my baby boy, it's been my baby sister. I don't think there's enough time or enough words that I can use to describe the life of Angel, and after everybody's already came through, I don't think I could do it as good as they did. But I'm going to try and hit a few highlights if I can. We had a special relationship, and in many ways a private relationship. A lot of these things about Angel are known by all of you, but if not, maybe some of you don't, I want to tell you just about a little bit of them. Over the next few years, she was kind of my little shadow. All she wanted to do is kind of do what I was doing, which annoyed me at some points, but it was good. She was my little partner in crime. Whether it was spying on Adrian and his phone calls with Brittany, or pulling pranks on Mom and Dad, as Dad alluded to. Anytime I had a mischievous idea, but knew it would lead to an immediate spanking for me, I got Angel to do it. For some reason, Dad didn't seem to have to spank Angel like he did me. Angel and I were a lot alike in many ways. That, however, is definitely an area we differed in. She had the sweetest, most tender heart and spirit. All it would take for her to break into tears was just a look from Dad, and she would be so sorry that she did what it did. I needed much more convincing to be sorry. She was tender. Angel and I were 8 years apart, but since Adrian got married and so young and was just her and I at home for many, many years, I was blessed enough to live at home with her for 16 years. Then I moved far, far away across the street. I would pop in, or she would pop in, at least one of us, one way or the other, almost every day, whether I was crashing their dinner, coming over to play a game, or needing Mom to make me a midnight snack if Kayla had already went to bed. Angel would usually come running down the stairs to make a remark about, "It's good I didn't go too far because I wouldn't know what to do without them," or "Don't I know how to make a sandwich yet?" She was sassy. As she grew up, she developed so many skills and talents. She was an amazing musician. She loved playing her French horn, but she loved to tickle the ivories even more. She had a lovely voice and loved to sing anytime she was in the car. Almost every time I walked into the office or the warehouse or into the house, she had some kind of music going. She loved to have beautiful music around her. She was musical. Anytime we were in the car, just us, she would get me to sing with her. Probably only Angel and Kayla are the only two that have ever heard me sing, and I enjoyed doing it with Angel. No matter how bad it was, or she always made over it like it was amazing and the best she'd ever heard. In fact, she would secretly try and record me so she could blackmail me because she knew I wouldn't let that get out. So she was always my biggest fan, no matter what it was in. She was a cheerleader. Some of Angel's biggest highlights in life were when she would beat me in anything. And I mean anything. If you know our family very long, you will quickly find we are very competitive. Angel was no different. It didn't matter if it was playing a little game like Uno or out on the golf course. Whatever it is, we play to win. It seems a lot of pictures I have of Angel are celebrating her victories. Of course, whenever I won, it was, her back was hurting today or she was having an off day, so it didn't really count, did it? But when she won, it was documented for posterity with photos. She would have a grin from ear to ear with the #1 sign as she snapped a selfie with me in the background, kind of unfortunately begrudgingly in that photo. But I wouldn't trade letting her win any of those times for anything. And nothing would get her going more than when I told her that after she won, which of course I never did let her win. But anytime she beat me, it was because she beat me fair and square. She was a winner. Once she graduated high school, she came and worked with me in the insurance business. She jumped in head first and started learning the ins and outs of the business. And I didn't give her the most glorious tasks to start. First, she was calling and getting and inputting information for about 8 hours a day. And she did that for weeks on end. I absolutely hated doing that, so I thought it was appropriate that I pass that along to her. She knew it needed to be done and took it in stride and did an amazing job at it. Then she eventually grew from that role and basically took over the whole business from me, and all I did was simply help out on a few things here and there. She was determined. But that wasn't enough for her. She wanted to help me in the pet food business too. She would come to me and say, I want and can do more to help you. How can I help? What do you need me to do? She didn't love going out and handling more beef liver than she thought even existed in this world, but she did it with a smile. Sometimes she complained about the smell, but no matter what I needed her for, she would be there. It doesn't matter the task, whatever it was, she would do it. Doesn't matter how big or how small or how bad it smelled, she was there. She was dependable. For about a year, I always needed help on Saturdays to keep the machines running. I worked her hard through the week because we loved to work and she was no different. But I'd work her hard all through Monday through Friday, and then Friday night around 10 o'clock, I knew she was winding down. I'd send her a little text, ask her what she was doing tomorrow, hoping she didn't have any plans. She knew what I wanted before even asking, and she would say she's busy, but I'll come help. And so I would get her there on Saturdays, throw her in the negative 10-degree freezer for a couple hours while we worked, and then we'd fill the machines and keep going. And she never once complained. She was a hard worker. It didn't matter if she knew what she was going to be doing, whether it be a dirty job, she would always come into the office all dressed up. She loved parading past my desk on her way to hers with a big latte in hand, and I'd just look at her. She had a big smile, and I'd say, you know what we're doing today, don't you? And she'd just look back and say, of course I do, but I want it to look good. I've got a change of clothes. It didn't matter what the event was, whether it was coming over to hold Killian, going to Chicago for a concert with Kayla and I, she always looked her best. Never did she look like Adrian and I do 99% of the time. She was always the first to brag on us whenever we would get dressed up for something. She would come over and give me a quick nudge and say, you look great, and that was her subtle way of saying, do this more often. She was a fashionista. Angel and I have been blessed to travel all over the world. If there's anyone that loves to travel more than me, it was Angel. The one big trip we didn't do together was Kayla and I's honeymoon. And believe me, she pulled all the stops out to try to get to come. In fact, she had worked so hard at it, Kayla agreed, and she came to me, I think we really need to let Angel and your mom and dad go with us. She really wants to come. I stood firm for Kayla, though, because I told her no, she'd have to sit this one out. But we've snorkeled some of the world's most beautiful reefs together. We've climbed the Great Wall of China. We've enjoyed tea I enjoyed tea at the oldest house in Shanghai. I didn't enjoy it after, but I enjoyed it then with her. We've explored off-limit forbidden crypts in Israel. We've ridden camels through the Sinai Desert. We've shopped through the stalls of the Grand Bazaar of Istanbul. We've ridden the gondolas of Venice. We've walked and talked in the Garden of Gethsemane. We've hiked the ancient city of Petra. We've held up the Leaning Tower of Pisa together. And we have watched the sunset dip into the Caribbean Ocean. It doesn't matter where our adventures took us. She was excited, if not more than I was, just to be sharing the adventure together. She was adventurous. She was an aunt to Adrian and Brittany's 3 babies, and an aunt to little Killian. She always took time out of her busy schedule to play with her nieces and nephews. In the 3 weeks that she was able to know Killian, he was so loved by her more than he will ever know. And almost nightly these past 3 weeks, I would get a text that read, "I'm coming over to hold Killian." It wasn't a question mark after that. It was a period. She was coming whether we wanted her to or not, so she was just letting us know so we could have the door unlocked. She was coming over to hold Killian. Hours and hours she would hold him and just talk to him, just talk away as if no one else in the world existed. That's what she did to pretty much anybody that she talked to. They were the center of her world at that moment. She gave you her undivided attention. I wish he would be able to remember those talks, but I'm glad that I will have those memories of her. She was an aunt. Some of you know Kayla and I had a hard time getting Killian. Sometimes it was a long, lonely road to walk, but Angel could always make it brighter. She would come over and talk and cry with Kayla as we went through everything. For years we tried with no success, but every step of the way, Angel was there to lend a shoulder for Kayla to cry on and talk to. Killian was our little miracle that Angel prayed so hard with us for. God's timing was perfect and sent him when we needed him most. She was a confidant. Another area that Angel excelled in was she had the special gift from God to draw people to her. It didn't matter if you were the oldest in the room or the youngest in the room. She could make you feel like the center of her world. I think that is really evident from here at church from a lot of wonderful notes and texts that we've received the past few days. We've only been a part of your family for 8 months, but Angel loved every single minute of it. And that was because she loved the people. She loved the elderly people, she loved the babies, and everyone in between. She was compassionate. Now, I could go on and on, but I know that time doesn't permit me to. So here are just a few more quick things that Angel embodied so well. She was kind, she was loving, she was beautiful, she was genuine, she was caring, thoughtful, and joyful. And most importantly, devoted. I was with Angel probably more than anyone, except maybe Dad and Mom, and she would come to me with a lot of questions about why this and why that. What do you think about this scripture? Why do you believe this? Why do we do this? Do you think this is wrong? I don't know that I was qualified to be somewhat of a spiritual leader or to help her in any of these ways, but I always did my best for her. Never once in all of those talks or questions did she ever have a rebellious spirit about it. She was always very tender towards God, and she loved Jesus with all of her heart. There are times in my life where I wish I could say I was that way always, but Angel, she never wavered in it. She always loved Jesus. I'm so thankful that she got a lot of my good traits, but that she didn't seem to get any of my bad traits, and that she just excelled way beyond me in just only 21 years. So what do all of these traits that I've mentioned mean? What do these words encompass with so much significance mean? To me, they mean Angel. Angel's life was like a shooting star. It brilliantly shined as she raced across this life. She never slowed down, she never looked back, and she lived every moment to the fullest. Her brilliance lit up our lives brighter than any other star before her. Then in a moment, she was gone. Even though the star is gone, the light she left behind will be seen for years and years to come. I've seen very few shooting stars in my life, but none as beautiful as Angel's shooting star. I want to read a special verse that I've never thought would apply to Angel, and Emma and Tressa had already mentioned it, but 1 Thessalonians 4:13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not. That ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. I know if I could talk to you, angel, what you would say. You would say, don't weep for me. Don't weep for me. My race is run. I've finished the course. I've made it to heaven. And you're not going to believe this place until you get here. Just as you don't have the words to express your sorrow there, I don't have the words to express my joy here. I got to meet my 9 nieces and nephews before you, and I will take good care of them. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you again. And I can see it with the grin on her face. Oh, and by the way, I beat you. I wish this was a race you didn't beat me in, Angel, but you always love to win, and I'm so glad you made it. The beauty of your life will live on in all of us, and we will strive to attain that prize that you've already beat us to. Don't do all of the adventuring without me. Save some for me. I love you, Angel.